Hi, they say life begins at the end of your comfort zone. If you want to seek greener pastures, sometimes you've got to leave your comfort zone and go abroad and work. How do you embark on a career abroad? Today, I am going to speak to a young nurse who is now based in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, and she's raising her family there. She's with her husband and her 1 year old daughter. She's also a licensed teacher back home in the Philippines. My guest today is Nicolette Anne Ubas-Sumagaysay. Hi, Nicole. Welcome to Life Expressions.
Hi, good morning. Morning,
Hi.
Tita.
Yes. And good evening from this part of the world. I'm in Vancouver and you are in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. This is global.
Yes.
Life Expressions is global. How are
What
you?
technology can do. Yes,
Exactly.
I'm good, Tita, and life has been better now again with my baby.
So, how has life been treating you? You've said you've been better, but tell us your story. How did you get to Abu Dhabi?
All right. So way before I went here last 2017, I was working my career in the medical city Iloilo as a training supervisor until an assistant director of nursing. But of course, we all know how nurses are compensated in the Philippines. And as the eldest in the family and a breadwinner, I have to leave my growing career in order to seek greener pasture for my family, since my father he also has um, an illness, and the only way to for us to continue supporting his medicines as well as my other sisters in their education is for me to go abroad. So I don't have any family members here, and it's really very, nerve wracking
Mhm.
to go on your own
Yeah.
for the first 27 or 26 years of my life. So it's my first time to leave my family. Okay, actually I chose the UAE because, as I've said, it's not that much. I'm earning not that much. And I think Middle East is one of the countries that is readily available for those who can't spend much. Because unlike in Western countries, UK, Canada, US, you really have to shed out a bigger amount in terms of exams, in terms of show money and
Mhm.
all. Here in the Middle East, you just need a placement fee. But I am blessed because the company that I got accepted to, I don't need to have a placement fee. All I need to do is just get a HAAD exam, and that's it. They paid everything, including my accommodation, my fare, um, and as well as all the other fees needed. So I just paid for my exam and my medical. That's
Yeah.
why I chose UAE.
Oh, okay. So that is why. So when you say placement fee, may I ask how much that was?
It's the first month of it's the 1 month salary that you're going to be given.
Okay. And after the first month, do you need to give them a certain percentage of your salary every
No
month?
need.
Oh, no
No.
need. Okay. So
Yeah.
it works really well. You just have to pay them for the first month of your salary, and then afterwards, you're free. You don't need to pay
Yes.
them anything. That is
Yes,
truly
that's right.
helpful. Okay. So
Yes.
how many nurses do you think are there in United Arab Emirates?
Actually, I'm not sure, but here in my company, I'm working in a home care company. There are 300 plus Filipino nurses only in my company that I am working with.
Wow. Okay. So how
Yes.
300 Filipino nurses. So how
Yes.
big is that home care?
Actually, we are under Aster. It's one of the biggest medical companies here in UAE. We have hospitals, we
Mhm.
have clinics, and we have pharmacies. So it's growing in number
Mhm.
and as well as in recognition in terms of quality. So
Mm.
it's really a good one.
Yeah. Of course, the currency of uh, Abu Dhabi or United Arab Emirates is bigger than the Philippines by like how much? 13 pesos?
Yes, minimum 13. Sometimes it goes up to 13.5, 13.6.
You've mentioned that life has been nerve-wracking for you in the first few months that you have transferred to Abu Dhabi. Tell us about that.
Yes, actually, not just the first month, but the first year.
Okay.
All right. So I came here to work as a staff nurse. So I left my growing career in the Philippines. All right. So I was already an assistant director of nursing
Yes,
in the medical city Iloilo. So it's also a big hospital or a
true.
big healthcare
Mhm.
institution in the country. But yes, I was as a nurse. I was programmed that I need to go abroad so that I'm going to earn big. So, I left that
Mhm.
while I was also taking my master's
Yeah.
in nursing. So I left those things. Then I went back as a staff nurse
Mhm.
here in UAE.
Mhm.
And then after 3 months, there was a opening for promotion as a planning specialist here in my company. So I applied and I was luckily accepted. So what I did as a planning specialist was really, it's not a normal job, I must say, because it was a trial and error position. I
Mhm.
was tasked to do the schedule of that 300 plus nurses all
Wow.
by myself.
Yes.
So in home care, there are a lot of changes, sick leaves, new patients, hospitalizations of patients, and I have to take care of all the schedule of the nurses. So I have to work 24 hours is not enough.
Wow.
And but I was, yes, that was really a hard job, but of course with the help of my colleagues here who are also Filipinos, I was able to manage to cope, no, even if I was just 3 months here. So I was in the position for 8 months,
Mhm.
but I had a, since it was a pilot position,
Mhm.
it turned out that it's not working because I got burnt out, I
Yeah.
got overworked. And the only way that I have to go is either I leave my company or I have to go back as a staff nurse. So I don't want to leave because a lot of people wants to go abroad and I'm already there, but
Yeah.
I'm just here for 11 months. So I didn't know the, Tita, I didn't know the where to go or I should apply in another company. So I don't know much yet. So I accepted the offer to go back as a field nurse. But actually, I was thankful.
Yeah.
I was thankful because, you know, it's a higher position, but the stress also was higher.
Mhm.
So I even told my husband that I think I wouldn't have it get pregnant if I was still having that position because of the stress level.
Yeah.
So I think everything happens for a reason.
That is
And
so
now
true.
I'm still working as a staff nurse, and at least now I have time for my baby.
Yeah. You have your family there. Did your husband go with you the first time that you went there? Tell us what happened.
All right. So after a year here
Mhm.
in Abu Dhabi, I went home for vacation
Mhm.
to get married.
Okay.
So it has been better after that because after our marriage, I we went back into Abu Dhabi. So I have him with me already.
Mhm.
So since then, it's not that sad anymore.
Yeah, you guys you have your family with you. Life got exciting. So, as a nurse in a home care, did you also have that maternity leave? Like how it works in the Philippines? How does it work there?
All right. So actually, I'm not very familiar in the Philippines
Yeah.
because I haven't experienced it. But actually here, we only have 45 days of maternity leave. You
Okay.
can add your 30 days of annual leave in order to lengthen it. But
Mhm.
as for me, actually, I can say that I really maximized
Mhm.
my work days. You know what, Ita? When I was
Yeah.
pregnant,
Mhm.
the day that I started my leave is the day that I gave birth. So I was
Wow.
40 weeks. Yes. So you can't afford to consume your leave here,
Mhm.
because if you will have to consume your leave you will be you will be on unpaid leave, and you will
Oh.
have no source of income.
Mhm.
So since I'm earning a bigger amount, I really maximized my working days. So
Mhm.
I rode the bus with with a big tummy, and yes,
Did
that's
you
it.
deliver normal or cesarean section?
I delivered normal.
Oh, good for you. So, and
Yes.
your maternity leave, you consumed 45 days after you delivered, after you gave birth. So it's 45 days. And then you went
Yes, it's
back after.
45
Did you
days.
go
Yes.
breastfeeding or formula?
Actually, my baby is on breast milk. I didn't have the chance to breastfeed because she doesn't like, but
Mhm.
I'm expressing my milk, and she's on exclusive breast milk for the first 6 months. And
Okay.
then when I went back to work, it actually decreased. My
Mhm.
milk supply decreased because
Yes.
it's expected. It was
Yeah.
expected. Yes, and then I got flu, but it's not COVID. Because that was also the time that
Oh,
COVID
that was
was
the time
on
of
the
the
verge.
hype of COVID. Okay.
Yes, that's
Yes.
right. So I get a little flu, and my milk supply doesn't went back. So I went on mixed feeding on her
Mhm.
10th month,
Mhm.
but I actually stopped on her first year.
Okay.
So yes.
So you mentioned it was difficult for you, especially for the first year, because you were in a new position. But socially, was there any difficulty that you had to encounter, like apart from being lonely, apart from being homesick, was there any discrimination or nothing of that sort?
Actually, here in the UAE, you wouldn't really feel that you are in a foreign land because there are a lot of Filipinos,
Okay.
really, at each side. But actually, since I mentioned that I was promoted, when I was just 3 months in the company, so there was definitely discrimination for my colleagues
Oh,
because some of them are already here for how many years.
yeah.
Then me being 3 months in the system, no.
Mhm.
So I was in the position right away. So they were saying that I really didn't know much yet about how the system goes. So I was amenable of it, but I think what's really important is the willingness to learn, and that
Oh,
yes, and you are there to cope also with the situation.
yeah.
So but I was also thankful because through that position, I was able to know more a lot of people and to get friends eventually with some of them.
Yeah, imagine 300 Filipino nurses working with you. What is the nationality of your patients there?
All right. So most of our patients here, Titas, are locals,
Mhm.
meaning they are citizens of United Arab Emirates. We call them locals because, of course, it's their country. But
Yeah.
we also have here patients like Indians
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
Omanis, no, that are already here for a long time. So they
Mhm.
are already covered by the national insurance because
Mhm.
our company is being paid by the insurance, and that's
Mhm.
how the business goes here.
Okay. So you have been a nurse for several years in the Philippines before you went to United Arab Emirates. Could you describe the differences between being a nurse back home and there in UAE?
Yes. Actually, it's one of my dream because I can see the difference really in terms of healthcare benefits.
Mhm.
So I was even saying that here, because here in the home care in UAE, even ventilated patients are being put on homes in order to enjoy time with their family. So that is really an advanced healthcare benefit. So I think the Philippines, we also have already home cares, but only
Mhm.
in Manila and in Cebu.
Mhm.
So it's not that well known yet.
Yes.
So that's one I think that I can see a big difference. And
Mhm.
then number two also is of course the pay. the benefits of the nurses that we get. No, so even during the pandemic, this pandemic, I am really saddened of how our nurses are being treated,
Yeah.
even just with their risk allowances, because being a nurse in this time of pandemic is really not a joke. Especially, my heart goes out to those nurses who are mothers themselves.
Yeah.
They cannot even hug their children because of the fear to transfer the virus. So they are sacrificing all these things, but the question is it really that worth it? So that's one thing, the benefits and the salary. And I think number three also, the main difference is in terms of independence.
Mhm.
Now, so in the nurses there, in the Philippines, I mean, there is really like a high hierarchy. No, all that the nurses do should really be uh, told or relayed to the physician. You can't. There are times, yes, for those that are already confident enough. But here in my current workplace, I think there is really a degree of trust and independence that are being given to the nurses. So we can do certain procedures and then after which inform our physician about it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, so it's good to be a nurse in UAE. That's why a lot of
Yes.
nurses from the Philippines go abroad to seek greener pastures, and not just greener pastures, of course, to get better treatment as healthcare workers. So hopefully that issue in the Philippines will be addressed real soon.
Yes.
Anyways, Nicole, back to you. Apart from being a nurse, you're also doing something else to secure a brighter future for yourself and your family. And you have mentioned off cam that it's an international online business. Tell me about this.
Yes. Actually, during this pandemic, there have been a lot of realizations. Since I saw that most people are really losing their jobs, I just can't help but wonder, what if I lose my job as well? Am I prepared? What do I need to do? Or what will I do if I lose my job? So that's how I got an interest into doing or seeking for another source of income or another opportunity. So it just so happened that a friend of mine has shared this international online business,
Mhm.
and it's US based.
Yeah.
We are into different products, but mostly pharmaceutical, and it's also a drop shipping business. So I don't have to take care of the logistics.
Mhm.
That's how I got interested in it. But actually, Tita, the one thing that really got my interest into this international online business is the values that it has, especially in terms of health advocacy,
Yeah.
and as well as into growth
Yeah.
and financial literacy. So I was not aware of it
Yeah.
before,
Mhm.
but because of this, what do you call this, venturing out into something new, you got um you get a new knowledge, you
Mhm.
grow,
Yeah.
and you are not just doing routine work. No.
Mhm.
So as I've mentioned, I was in the administration before in the Philippines. So there is really something in me that what can I do more,
Yeah.
rather than just do routine nursing work and
Yeah.
then go home, sleep, and then do the same thing again. So that's how I got into this international online
How
business.
many hours do you work as a nurse?
As a nurse, I work 253 hours here. That's how
253 hours
in a
uh
month.
in a month. Okay. So that's how many hours in a week?
More or less 60.
Okay, 60 hours a week. Okay, that's how a nurse works. Okay. So in 60 hours a week as a nurse, how many hours do you devote in your international online business?
Actually, it's very flexible.
Mm.
It's up to you. If you
Okay.
want to do it fast, then
Yeah.
you have to devote a bigger amount of time.
Mhm.
But as for me personally, I'm devoting more or less 2 hours per day.
Okay.
That's the most. So
Mhm.
that's 12 hours in a week.
Yeah. Okay. And has it been worth it so far?
Yes.
For how long have you
um,
been into this?
I've been here for 9 months,
Hmm.
and I must say that since it's a business, it's compounding.
Yeah.
So most probably for the first year, there is not much income, but I can say it's worth it with the growth that I see in myself in terms of the hunger to learn more
Hmm.
and the hunger to help other people.
Yeah.
So I think that hunger to be of service to other people was again reignited in me.
Yeah.
I was able to find a new purpose to live each day. So I think it's really different when you have someone looking at you as a role model. So that's
Yeah.
my daughter. So um, I don't want to see her that her mother is working all her life and
Hmm.
not happy about it.
Yeah.
So this business actually gave me something that can help me, my family, and as well as other people. And in the process, Tita, grow myself
Yeah.
so that you're not just focused on yourself, but you're focused for something bigger. And I want my daughter to be a dreamer. That's why I want to set the pace for her. So
That
I
is
really
wonderful.
really love what I'm doing. And as I told you, Tita, I was really inspired by your program
Hmm.
because as OFWs we're mostly confined to work,
Yes.
work. But it's really different when you're doing something that inspires other people.
True. And when you get to connect, that is important as well. And when you make a difference, which I think you are, because you are learning continually, you are trying to grow as a person. And when you do that, you also make time for yourself and for your family and for others to grow with you. I have heard that you had a very successful webinar recently. Tell me about that.
Yes. My webinar was entitled What Really Matters, a webinar on parenting strategies.
Mhm.
So I just turned 30 years old last August 28th, and it was a passion project. Again, because I thought of as mothers, it's really very difficult for us to raise our children, especially for me here abroad that I don't have my mother beside me, although we're doing video calls. But I think there are already sciences, principles behind raising children, researches, and I want to be an instrument or a channel to share those knowledge also to others, not only to parents but to teachers alike. So that webinar was actually has actually three topics,
Mhm.
no? So very important topics in the life of a child: health and nutrition. There is discipline and punishment,
Yeah.
and of course basic life values. Because I think one of the most important things that parents should also develop into their children are the basic values. So
True.
most of us give them material things, but these values are most often neglected, which are really, really very important, I think.
That is so
Yes.
true.
So,
You do not teach your child just by saying it. You model the values. You show them how you live. So that's how they
yeah,
learn actually. They're sponges, right? They learn from what they see from you. They learn from what they hear from you, not just what you say, but how you say it, how you live day by day, especially that with your you are with your daughter who's just 1 year old and 6 months. Oh, she is a sponge, truly. And wait till she gets to be a toddler and up. My teenager, my daughter is 16 years old, and unfortunately, we're far from each other. So we try to be connected every single day. And I'm happy that we were very close since she was a little girl until she was 14, physically close, I mean, so that even this distance, we still have that close relationship and we manage to communicate because communication is very important, especially in parenting, I would dare say, right?
yes. Actually, I have a very good, and not a very good, but I have an example for that because since I've mentioned that we are four in the family, I mean, I have four, we are four siblings.
Siblings, yes.
I am really not that close to my mom until I went abroad. So
Mm,
it's an irony. But I felt much of her care when I am already abroad.
Mhm.
So I think distance also is a factor that although yes, it separates you physically, but using those technology um, could also bring a difference. So before I am not really sharing much of my experiences to my mom when we were together.
Yeah.
But since I went abroad, I became more open since I have no family members here. I have no one to
Talk
share
to.
my
Yeah.
experiences to. So my mom had been more caring than ever when I was already here.
Shout out to my former classmate, Noreen. And I'm pretty sure she's very proud of you. And I would dare say she's very happy of how she has raised you, even if you're saying that you were that close when you were growing up, but now that you're abroad, you are closer to each other, and she only wants what's best for you, as always. Okay, so Nicole, I have noticed, even if we've just met, I have noticed how driven you are, how values oriented you are, how you value life, and how you value making a positive impact in others. How did you get these values?
Um, Maybe I don't know also, but maybe it's because also how I saw it from my parents. So my parents my mother got pregnant with me when she was still a teenager, and I saw how she struggled, but she struggled positively, I must say. So even if raising four kids has been really very difficult, but in an inch I haven't seen her depressed, down, or she didn't really much show that she was weak or she was wary. So I think that strength of her, I love it. So I must say that even if I feel so emotional at most of the time, I just remember my mother and I get inspired. And the way that she raised us, she raised us tough. No, so she's not that sweet, but I can feel that she loves us very much.
Yeah.
And also, Tita, I think with the education that I get, I got my elementary education from Queen of Peace School. It is a school of BVMC sisters. So
Mhm.
I was surrounded by nuns who are really very, they are nuns, but they can feel you. They know
Yes.
how you feel.
Yes.
And as well in my high school education, same with you, we're co-alumni from LCC Bacolod. So I think this education, how I saw my parents live their life, has become a foundation also on how I want to 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 live my life and how I want my daughter to live her life as well. Of course, it was not perfect, but
Yeah.
I think mending or changing what can be changed is also important.
Yes.
So there has been mistakes also that, or what you call this, there has been weaknesses
Yeah. And
as
maybe
well, or
shortcomings. Yeah.
yes, shortcomings. But what's important is you don't focus on it, but you focused on the solutions. So I think it's how you see things more than what things are.
True, yeah. It is actually a matter of perspective. It is a choice on how you would see things and how you would act on it. Most of us would want to be proactive rather than reactive. And I could say that you are proactive because you tend to do more than what you're expected to do. You tend to extend your network and yourself and become more of yourself and become a better version of you. If there is any advice that you could give to young people, especially young nurses who would want to seek greener pastures abroad, what is the key thing that they should remember to be successful abroad?
Well, I am not yet successful abroad, but I think there are just hopefully, even if just one, I can share how also to enjoy the process, no? Because yes, it's difficult here, but you grow here. It strengthens your personality and your character here. But if there's one thing that I can share, it's that um, you don't focus on just what you do. What I mean is, I think it's difficult for me to explain it, but it's something that I just learned recently, Tita, no, that it's really just not doing one thing.
Yeah.
In terms of financial, this is financial thing, but I think it can relate to living life, no,
Yeah.
because I can see all our life we're working for money. No, some of us resigns at the age of 60. No, we're still working until the age of 50, 60. That we tend to forget how life should be lived and should be enjoyed because we're so much focused on um, looking for resources.
Yeah.
So I think at this age, when we still have the energy, we still have the um, what do you call this? We still have the courage, take risk, take risk to venture into something else. No, it's there are a lot of financial webinars that would say that it's really risky if you just depend on one source of income. So it's good to live your life as a nurse. It's tiring to live your life as a nurse, but it's inspiring as well to live your life as a nurse. But it's not that all that's meant for you. There's more. And if we can discover what's that more for us, no? So I think we can enjoy more of our life. So that's it. Just take risk, enjoy the process, but take risk as well. So don't settle for just what we are receiving. Me, I can say that I am receiving a bigger amount of salary here, but I know in myself that I deserve more. I want to be more, not for myself, but in order for me to help other people. Because my salary, tita, it can suffice the needs of my family. But in order for me to help more people, I think I should be able to make more.
Yeah.
So
That is
it's
good.
quite yeah. I hope I have explained it
Yeah,
very
that
well.
is good. Like I just remembered one of the advices of my closest friend Snelia, that she said sometimes you've got to remember as well that it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. So you've got to be good in finances as well. If you are already earning, one major lesson that I've had in life is that you have got to know how to manage your resources, because it is not on how much you make but on how much you keep from what you
Yes,
make.
that's
Right?
true.
Yes.
That's true.
Yes.
It's easy to get money, but it's difficult to keep it and to grow it. No, so
True.
it's not enough keeping it, but growing it because I
Very
learned
true.
there's also inflation. So
Yes, that is very true. It's just like the talents that you have. It's biblical, right? You just don't keep it, you grow it. And then when you are, when you have already grown it, you can share it.
yes, that's
Yes,
right.
that's perfect. So thank you so much, Nicole, and thank you so much for your time. If anyone who's listening to this podcast would be interested to know more about how to do an international online business like you do, and perhaps you can give them advice too if they would want to pursue a career in Abu Dhabi or United Arab Emirates, how can they reach you?
All right. So actually, you can reach me through my email.
Mhm.
So it's Nicolette Anne, NicoletteTTEANNE 0928 at gmail.com, or you can search me in Facebook. So it's the same, Nicolette Anne Sumagaysay. All right. So I'm very active in Facebook more than Instagram, and
Yes.
I also reply on email. So I am for those who would also want to venture out or just check out.
Yeah.
No, I'm not saying what I'm doing will be applicable or good for everyone else, but if you just want to check out what I'm also doing, you can message me in email or in Messenger. And one more thing that I just want to share to everybody, Tita, no, before we end is take care of your health,
True.
no, because it's only one. All right. So when we lose our health, we lose everything else. So kumbaga, if there is one thing that you can give yourself, focus on health,
Yes.
because we are being depended on by a lot of people, and we can't afford to lose that.
Yeah.
So that's,
Health is wealth.
yes, that's true.
Right. Okay. So again, thank you, Nicole. And I hope that you will reach all that you aspire for in life. I am very happy that Noreen, my classmate, is very proud of you. And I am too. Continue to be a good living example. And may you reach all your dreams, as I have said. And good luck on raising your family there in United Arab Emirates.
Thank you so much, Tita, for this opportunity. I hope even just one, I can inspire, and also they can learn also from my experience.
Thank you so much, Nicole. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Remember that what you think about yourself and your abilities will determine your future. I'm Shari Hinati Elon, and this is Life Expressions. If you like this episode and if you think that this can help yourself or your friends, please like this video and share it with your friends as well. You can also follow me on Spotify and, of course, YouTube. Again, this is Shari Hinati Elon. Till next time. Bye, Nicole. Thank you.